Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery. It's a beautiful Friday morning, September 16th, 2022. We get together with our distribution partners most weekday mornings, 8 o'clock Central, to share strategies, success stories, tips, resources. But ultimately, we're here to support each of you. We have a mixed group, and that's great. Diversity is wonderful. We have some of you who are regional vice presidents, RVPs, as we like to call them, our leadership team. We're looking for one RVP, regional vice president per state, and they're out leading the effort to build our distribution system. They're paid overrides from the production of their team for doing that. There's no cost to be an RVP, of course. Secondly, we have white label partners. White label partners are those of us that roll up our sleeves and do the work, right? So the RVPs manage and the white label partners do the work. So as white label partners, we're involved with implementing the model that is described on the screen in front of you. The purpose of our training today is I feel a need to go back over this pictorial that we reviewed not too long ago, because I don't know that we've all assimilated what we do. So I'm going to try it differently this time. I'm not going to get as deep into the weeds, but I want to talk about a high level. My goal for our few minutes together this morning is for us all to have an understanding and hopefully an appreciation of, at a high level, what you and I do, what our model does. So let me take a stab at going through it, and then we can answer your questions. So what is it that our model does? So again, referring to the model, your role in the model differs. If you're an RVP, you're one of the leadership team. If you're a white label partner, you're actually developing clients and involved with the client. So I understand two different roles, but regardless, it's one model. So let's go through the model and make sure we're all on the same page. So what we do is we provide three things to small businesses. We help them build their financial literacy. We help them assemble a lender compliant loan package, and we help them become credible enough to be able to get funding. So those are the three inputs into this funnel. So by doing those three things, we can guarantee in writing any small business at least $100,000 to start or grow. So let's stop at a very high level. What does our model do? We do three things. We help improve financial literacy, we help build lender compliant loan packages, and we help address credibility issues so any small business can raise at least $100,000. Now, let's peel back a little bit. I don't want to go too deep into the weeds. What if a client needs more than 100,000? That's fine. We're working on a number of capital raises that you'd have to put another comma in. So it's okay if they're looking for more than 100,000. Our guarantee in writing is 100,000, but if they want more, we can work with them to raise more, and we can go after as much as they want. Ultimately, we need to make sure that they're credible enough for the funding that they're looking for, and that's what the model does. So this is the floor, not the max. Second high-level topic. How much does this cost the client? I don't know. That is up to you, right? As a white label partner, you determine the pricing. So you became a white label partner. We provided you access to your white label Dropbox. There's all kinds of information in there, press releases and marketing material, but specifically editable agreements. As a white label partner, you determine what the cost is to the client. So no one can argue that we charge too much or too little, because you control it, right? It's your agreements. Now let's go ahead and at not too deep of a level, let's just make sure that we understand how we do each of these at a high level, because I don't want to lose you. I want to just make sure that we can talk the talk. We understand that what you and I do, we're technical advisors. We're operating under a grant that we received. We do three things. We help improve financial literacy, build lender compliant loan packages, and help small businesses become credible enough to get access to start or grow, a minimum guarantee of $100,000. Is there a certain minimum credit score that someone has to have to enroll in the guaranteed financing program? No, no. Is there a minimum time in business? No. Are there certain industries? Well, it needs to be legal, but as long as it's a legal industry, we're okay. Location wise, needs to be US based. So we can help pretty much everyone. We don't need to spend time and energy filtering people. As long as it's a legal business model, or if it's not in operation yet, will be legal in terms of the services or goods sold. And then also needs to be US based. So let's talk about financial literacy. So as we've discussed before, I think it's not controversial, but it's the most contested of the three balls. I think what you and I would understand is most small businesses lack the financial literacy, small business owners lack the financial literacy, meaning they don't know how to see their business through the eyes of the lender. And that's what we focus on. We have 4 modules so they can understand what they need to know. It's very practical about their business. So we use an award-winning curriculum. I don't think there's any debate about the material we cover. I didn't mean that was contested, but what I meant is a lot of small business owners don't care. They just want the funding. They want the funding coming out of the bottom, and they want it as quickly as possible. Of course, we do too. That's how we're all paid. But the financial literacy often isn't that important to them. Not everyone, but often. So I respect that. So what we've done is we've made this increasingly efficient, whereby now it's available on demand. And frankly, you can offer this as a standalone. So let's say you have a client that's not willing to sign up, but you want to go ahead and give them a free sample, a free taste. You can plug them into the financial literacy curriculum for free. The problem with that is that's really not what most of them want, right? They really want the funding, but if we can improve their knowledge for those that won't sign up, that's a good step to help move them towards becoming a client, if that makes sense. So now we have the 4-day, used to be 4-week, and we still offer the 4-week, but now we can go through this 4-day. We contracted with Blue Revenue. We've talked about that before. If you don't know how to plug people into this, then go ahead and email us or text us, but because I don't want to go that deep in the weeds, but we have an award-winning financial literacy curriculum available to the public through the grant, as well as to the participants in the guaranteed financing program to help them understand and prepare all of this. Make sense? So who has any questions on financial literacy? We're laser focused on the specific topics that's relevant to the goal at hand. Are there other topics that could be taught on? Of course, but we're just laser focused on what we need to do to get to the end goal. I've said this to a few of you. I don't know that I've ever said it on a Zoom call, but I'll go ahead and say it and stick my neck out there. You know, what's the mindset? The mindset probably should be, we should do the least amount of work in the least amount of time to get the desired outcome. Because extra work for anyone is not necessary. Extra time is not good for anyone. We just want to get the job done. We want to get clients the funding. If they're only looking for 100,000, then that matches with the goal. If they need more than 100,000, then of course we'll set that as the goal. All right, so no one has any questions on financial literacy. If you don't know how to plug into this, you need to reach out to support and say, hey, I don't understand that financial literacy. We can plug you into it so you understand it and you appreciate it. Second element, loan packaging. I was talking to one of you this morning, and a PhD, sharp woman, white label partner. But her question was really, tell me again what this means. Well, if we want to go for business funding, we need to have the documentation in order to present to the lender to get approved. Now, what documentation is needed will vary slightly or maybe considerably from lender to lender, but it's by developing the loan package that we understand how much capital does the client want? How do they plan on using it? What are their baseline credibility factors, which we'll get over to here in a moment. So for instance, we do a lot with SBA lending. Our SBA 7A Express, the business plan for it is 1 page. That's all the lender wants. It's a 1-page business plan. We know exactly the questions that they want to answer. So what do? We develop a 1-page business plan. Other lenders have other needs. We launched yesterday the new Next Day SBA funding program. Sounds too good to be true, I'll admit it, but it's not. We can offer SBA loans now that actually get funded in hours. And I'm not talking about some drawn out. I'm saying we get the client, we submit them today, we get an approval today, and in some cases funded in the same day or the next day. Now we say next day just to under promise and over deliver. In that case, that expedited program, they're not even asking for financial projections. So what's the point? Different sources of capital have different underwriting criteria and different requirements for a loan package. We work with the client to build out what's needed. So that's the second element, the loan package. Now, who does this? Here's what our experience has been, and please no one take offense. We've had a lot of white label partners that say, oh, I'll do it. And a lot of them haven't necessarily had the experience or the education, and the end result is that the client didn't really get serviced as well. So our preference, even if you're a white label partner, is we'll take care of building this out. But if you want to do it, it's your client, and you have that right. So now we're over to the third and final element, credibility building. So what did we say over here about building the loan package? Well, ultimately, we need to put together the documentation that's needed based upon the specific type of capital that we're going after, because different sources of funds have different requirements. Same on credibility building. So you'll be asked a million times, and it's okay, but people will ask, well, what's the minimum credit score I need? Well, it depends upon the source of funding. What type of capacity or liquidity do I need? It depends upon the source of funding we're going after. Do I need collateral? It depends upon the source of collateral or the source of funding we're going after. And so there's not just one single answer to what's needed, because there's many different sources of funding. We need to get the client in. We need to start pulling documents together from them, figure out what plan, what capital raise strategy we're going after, and then we can determine, do they meet the credibility factor for what they're looking for or not? If they do meet it, then let's go apply for funding, get them funding, and they're happy, and you get paid a lot of money. So that's awesome. What if they don't meet the credibility factors? Well, we have really two options, right? Either help them meet the credibility factors, which I'll talk about here in a second, or pivot to a different type of capital that they do qualify for. It's too good to be true. It's unrealistic. It's elementary to have the mindset, oh, I don't have to be credible enough to get approved. We of course have to be credible enough to be approved, but that almost always leads to the question, well, what are the requirements? It depends. It depends on what type of funding we're going after, and we can't normally discern what the end goal is until we start pulling together the package to see where we're going. Now, in our case, we are not an advance fee loan scheme. And we've talked about this before and said, well, if we're not that, why are you talking about it? Well, the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, is all over advance fee loan schemes. And that's where they often go to clients, charge them up front with the promise of getting a loan. Well, we don't do that, do we? We have a refundable deposit that the client pays for the development of the loan package, and they actually get that, so it's not just a shell game. And then they would pay a performance fee after the capital raise based upon results. Now, that's how you're paid, right? As a white label partner, you're paid for the loan package. You choose how much. Normally, you're charging around $2,500 for that. And then you decide what the performance fee is, whatever the capital raise is. Normally, it's a $100,000 minimum. I'm sorry, normally it's 10%. So if you take 10% of 100,000, you're earning 10,000 plus the 2,500. So you could anticipate if, as you're putting in accounts receivables into your QuickBooks or however you're tracking receivables for your business, each time a client signs your guaranteed financing program, which we used to call Capital Ready, then normally you're booking an accounts receivable for 12,500 using those assumptions. Now, if they raise more capital, then the performance fee is more. The percentage doesn't go up, but the base amount that it's applied to goes up. So the loan package is something that we have the skill set to do that a lot of people don't. And so should you and I build loan, here's the argument. Well, why don't you guys just build a loan package for free? Well, why do accountants charge to prepare financial statements? Why do attorneys charge for their time? Why do architects charge to develop house plans or other drawings? Well, professionals can be paid a fee, right? And you deserve to be paid. You deserve to be paid. And if you don't think that, then you're undervaluing yourself. So you do get to choose what the loan package fee is, the refundable deposit. You could make it a little, you could make it a lot, you could make it refundable or non-refundable. But the bottom line is there's work that has to go into it. Now, in truth, you're outsourcing that to us and we'll do the work. You're making money off of us. We're kind of like your peasants in the Vietnamese rice field, and we're out there doing the farming for you so you can sit back in your corporate office and make money off of our sweat and effort. But that's all right. We'll be your slave labor. So the loan package. And then once we get enough of the loan package, then we can start assessing. All right, are we on track? Do we meet the underwriting criteria based upon the 3 C's? Do you have to have all 3 C's? No, different sources of capital have different requirements. And what's important, and I kind of want to close on this, is that you're not meaning you, the client is not locked in to their current circumstance of credit, capacity, or collateral. Any of those can be changed. They can be improved. Well, let's dig a little bit into that. I don't want to go too deep. So let's say they come to us and we look at their business credit profile and it's not very strong. Fine. We'll help them add trade lines, primary trade lines that they can literally use for their business that reports to Dun & Bradstreet and Experian Business, for example, that makes the business more credible. So they have more borrowing capacity. We do that. Let's say that we look at their personal credit profile and it's not so good. Then we'll give them guidance of some options of what to do. And we, of course, have the 60-day credit sweep if we need to block some applicable derogatory items. So we don't worry about someone's credit before they enroll, because if credit's an issue, we can address it. We can fix it. We can help it improve. Credit is fluid. Credit has no memory. We might have not so good credit today, but it could be much better next week. The second of the 3 C's is capacity, and this is commonly referred to as cash flow. Well, again, we've got to get away from the emotion of what the borrower thinks and look at it from the eyes of the lender. That's why the financial literacy is helpful. We hope that you've gone through it. Again, it's free. But this capacity is the ability to repay the debt, and it's also measured specifically in documented liquidity. So again, if the client comes to us and they do not have adequate capacity, we can fix that. We can legitimately, legally, ethically, and quickly fix that. We can help them have documented liquidity. If their bank deposits are low or inadequate, we can provide them cash flow so they're able to have a better bank rating. So they have working capital to work off of during the capital raise. So their financial statements look better. That's the power that you and I have as technical advisors, is we can help teach them, we can build a loan package, and we can also help them get credible enough to get the funding, because that's the secret sauce, right? If it were so simple to say, oh, I just want 100,000, just someone give it to me, I guess the best thing to do is go buy a lottery ticket and see how those 1 in 13 million odds work out for you. But instead, what we can do is qualify for funding. So credit, we've talked about capacity. Just like credit, we can help people improve capacity. We have people come to us frequently and they're just stone cold broke. They just need money. They need some earned income. Great, we plug them in. They become a regional vice president, or they come aboard and become a white label partner, and then they start earning the income that they need to pay their bills, to support their family, and to position themselves for a capital raise. And then thirdly, we have collateral, the third of the three C's. This is, of course, as the assets that are pledged for loan repayment. Now, do all sources of capital require collateral? No, we've said that. There's not some checklist that applies to every type of capital. Instead, each type of capital has its own checklist. And as soon as you appreciate that, then we can be successful. So let's say the client has what's called a collateral shortfall. They don't have enough collateral to pledge for the amount of money that they want to borrow. Fine, we fix it. We have the collateral support program. So there's such power in what you and I do. We start with financial literacy. Granted, not everyone's real motivated about that, but it's available to everyone, and they can do that without even enrolling in the program and experience that for free. The loan packaging, we have expertise in building the loan package, and we have expertise in assessing and helping clients improve any of the three C's that may be needed for approval, whether it be credit, business, or personal, or whether it be their capacity, if they just need cash flow. Again, I have a client yesterday, we just got funded. He came to us and he's like, I'm going to lose my car. I do not have money to pay my car. I need money fast. And we got him eight or nine loan offers yesterday morning. And so some people just need some money right now, and they may not even frankly qualify for debt yet because they don't have any proven capacity. That's fine. You and I have the ticket to help them with capacity, with credit, and or with collateral. So I'll answer a couple of questions and we'll wrap it up early as we try to on Friday. So this is our model. And if you understand it, it's legal, it's ethical, it's effective. And oh my gosh, it should be so profitable for you. There's absolutely no reason that each of you that are white label partners can't be bringing on 8 clients a month. That's the goal. That should put you right at about $100,000 a month of gross income. And then for those of you that are RVPs, why in the world wouldn't you be able to find some professionals, insurance agents or other, that want to help small businesses, that's looking for another revenue stream? And this is an incredible door opener. Okay, so let's get to Warren's question. So Warren's asking but the 100,000 minimum. Okay, so that again is a guarantee we put in writing. And Warren, I think I'm going to jump out of the window if I'm reading your question directly, because it would mean that everything I've said for the past 23 minutes has not worked. But what I feel like Warren is asking is, what are the credibility factors to get the $100,000? So let me take a deep breath and maybe a Zoloft and try to answer that. It depends, right? We have to build a loan package to figure out what they're going to use the money for. We need to assess their credibility factors and then figure out the right source of capital based upon their mitigating circumstances. So there's not some singular answer. That's been my point, is that there's not some singular answer when it comes to credit, whether it be business or personal or capacity or collateral. Obviously, the 3 C's fit into any debt-based capital raise. And if we don't want a debt-based capital raise, we can go to an equity-based, but where you don't have to pay the money back. But there's not some singular answer. We've got to stop being of the mindset that there's some specific credit score or some specific capacity level or some specific collateral that's needed for any type of capital raise. You can't generalize this. I'll try to find an analogy. Let's say that you and I are going to go to dinner tonight, Warren. How much is it going to cost? Before we leave, before we decided where we're going to go, you want to know, how much is this fucking dinner going to cost? Are we going to Taco Bell, Warren, for 2 bean burritos? Or are we going to Fogo de Chao, where the Brazilian chefs are coming around cutting the meat off the skewers, right? So it depends. We need a plan for the capital raise before we know what the requirements are. All right, and then in terms of the financial literacy, if you're not familiar with how to plug into this, again, please, please, please reach out to support. We'll plug you into this. It'd be great for you to go through it, and so you understand it and appreciate it more. And there's no cost. You can offer the financial literacy curriculum just as a standalone. It's fully grant subsidized, and it's also built in to our guaranteed capital raise program. All right, well, thanks everyone. We will see you back Monday morning. We're having an awesome September, the best month we've ever had. And so that's a little bit surprising with all the market conditions going on. But September's been awesome for us. I hope it's great for you. We want to help you make sure that you reach your numbers, reach your goals. So let us know what we can do to help. See you Monday morning. Bye-bye.